Hey everybody, Dr. Rafich here from Vet Triage. We are continuing through this issue of JAVMA, June 15, 2015. We're talking about the evaluation of marketing claims, ingredients, and nutrition profiles of over-the-counter diets marketed for skin and coat health of dogs. This is a very popular topic. It's one of the most common reasons why dogs go to a veterinarian, and the grocery stores are just littered with different diets for gastrointestinal sensitivity, hypoallergenic diets, novel protein diets, urinary health, all this stuff. So this is a massive pain in the ass when it comes to trying to help educate pet owners as a veterinarian, but also trying to avoid pet owners from being duped by these erroneous claims, if that's what's happening here. So this study will aim to tackle that. This comes out of the Tufts University Veterinary School in Massachusetts. The objective is to evaluate marketing claims, ingredients, nutrient profiles of over-the-counter diets marketed for skin and coat health of dogs. It's a cross-sectional study. They sampled 24 over-the-counter dry and canned diets marketed for skin and coat health for dogs. Procedures, data on marketing claims and ingredients were collected from, data on marketing claims and ingredients were collected from diet, packaging, and manufacturer websites. Concentrations of selected nutrients were obtained by contacting the manufacturers and were compared against minimum values for the Association of American Feed Control Officials dog food nutrient profiles for adult dog maintenance based on caloric content. Now, right away, they say here that they collected information by contacting the manufacturers, and so that may not be true. You're asking the people who are marketing this stuff to give you information on it, although you should do that, but there ought to be a more formal way that you can get this information without having to go through them, because they are trying to sell the diets, and they also don't want to seem like they're trying to do anything that's dubious. Results found that terms such as digestive health, sensitive, or premium are poorly defined. The number of unique major ingredients in each diet ranges from 3 to 8, the median of 5.5, and the number of unique ingredients in each diet range from 28 to 68. Holy crap. Median of 38. Conclusions: there's a large variation that causes confusion for pet owners. Owners of a dog with derm issues should consult their veterinarian. All right, introduction. Diet, infectious disease, parasites, environment, genetics, metabolic disease can all impact skin and coat quality. Cutaneous adverse food reactions, which encompass true allergies and food intolerances, are not commonly diagnosed. Right off the bat, that either is an inaccurate statement, or if that's true, then not only do pet owners have to learn how to adequately work up a dog that has skin issues that might be related to diet or not, but veterinarians need to figure out how to work up these cases, because I would argue that if this statement is true, it means that veterinarians are misdiagnosing dogs who have skin issues by claiming that their diagnosis is cutaneous adverse food reactions. And I do think that veterinarians on the whole are very bad about diagnosing these conditions outside of a dermatologist, because many dog owners are told that their dog has allergies to chicken or to beef or whatever, and that's very common, and this statement is saying it's not very common. So these types of conditions in dogs ranges from 7.6% in one dermatology clinic to 12% in another. Yeah, see, very low with dermatology clinics. I bet you if you were to go and find out the number of cases of dogs that are diagnosed with cutaneous adverse food reactions in general practice, it'd be much higher. Nutrient deficient, and also might be actually low because maybe the general practices are accurately diagnosing these conditions, and so they're not sending those cases to dermatology, which is going to make it a lower percentage of this diagnosis from derm clinics. So a lot of factors to consider. Okay, nutrient deficiencies and toxicoses are unlikely causes of dermatologic disease in dogs fed good quality, complete, and balanced commercial foods. Essential fatty acids play a role in membrane fluidity, metabolic regulation, maintenance of transepidermal water barrier, and ioxanoid synthesis. Dogs with deficiencies of essential fatty acids have clinical signs that include thin and discolored coats, scaly skin, sebaceous gland hypertrophy, and increased transepidermal water loss. Supplemental dietary linoleic acid is one option, omega-3 fatty acids another. Increasing total fat rather than specific fatty acids can also contribute to coat gloss and softness, even if there's no fatty acid deficiency. Deficiencies of certain amino acids, vitamins, minerals can also cause skin issues. Vitamin A is an example that can lead to dermatitis and alopecia. In accordance with the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act, expressed or implied claims that a diet is intended to cure, treat, or prevent disease may subject the diet to regulation as a drug rather than as a pet food, which, all the marketing for these diets point to this, and over-the-counter dog food diets. Materials and methods. These were collected from pet stores, mass market retailers, supermarkets, online realtors, retailers, both internet exclusive retailers and websites for retailers with brick and mortar locations. They looked at foods that had certain terminology to them. So ones that were excluded were anything that said food sensitivities, like using the term sensitive, as in the phrase sensitive dogs, or diets that were labeled that advertise a secondary benefit for skin or coat health, like a diet with packaging that said we have omega-6 fatty acids for healthy coats, but without a name mentioning skin or coat health. They were excluded. Diets marketed as limited ingredient diets were not included unless they also met the criteria for having skin or coat health in the diet name. So right off the bat, you know that a weakness of this paper is going to be them cherry picking what diets they're looking at here for this experiment. Although most diets were not marketed as limited ingredient or novel ingredient diets, it was the author's clinical impression that pet owners often selected these diets because they believed their dog had a food allergy. Again, this is very subjective to have that statement there. That's pretty wild, which hurts this paper. Major ingredients, if they had the potential to contribute protein to the diet, were recorded. The number of both plant and animal-based, including egg and dairy. Major ingredients on diet ingredient lists were counted, given that both contained proteins that could contribute to cutaneous adverse food reactions. Results. 24 over-the-counter dry and canned diets marketed for skin and coat health for dogs were included. This included 15 dry and 9 canned of 11 brands. So some marketing claims that they listed here and how many diets were included. Terms like fatty acids, so omega-6, omega-3, non-specific omega, digestive health, sensitivities, no artificial colors, flavors, or preservatives, no corn, no wheat, antioxidants, premium, natural, no soy, limited or unique ingredients, and zinc. Those are all terms they looked for the diets they picked. The median number of unique major ingredients was 5.5, ranging from 3 to 8, with a median of 2 animal-based ingredients ranging from 0 to 5, and 3 plant-based ranging from 1 to 5. Median total number of unique ingredients was 38, ranging from 28 to 68. The most common animal-based ingredients were fish, egg, and chicken, and then a bunch of smaller ones. The most common plant-based ingredients were rice, potato, oat, pea, and then some smaller ones. All manufacturers were able to provide concentrations of protein, fat, zinc, vitamin A, and vitamin E, but concentrations of each of the B vitamins were available for only 20 of the 23 manufacturers. Again, if you're not going to test the diet yourself to make sure that their labels actually depict what's in the diet, then you're just asking the folks who handle the marketing and the manufacturers to just tell you what's in it, in which case you are, again, relying on them, and we're trying to find out whether or not they're being honest about the marketing. So this is, again, a fairly flawed paper in that respect. All diets except for 3 met the minimum values for AAFCO. So AAFCO is AAFCO, AAFCO Dog Food Nutrient Profiles. So AAFCO is the organization that's supposed to be controlling this. They set the standard for what's considered the minimum amount of carbs, proteins, fats that you're allowed to have in a diet in order to sell it. So 3 of the diets did not meet that. All right, discussion. Included marketing terms without technical definitions like premium contributed to the confusion for pet owners, suspected. Although these qualitative terms do not have regulatory definitions and are used arbitrarily, they could suggest superior quality of the diet or health benefits. I mean, it's the same thing as when you see things like light, LITE, or fat-free or sugar-free or weight loss or whatever. It's these terms that they use, like premium, that don't really have any regulation behind them, and of course they're going to cause confusion with pet owners, because a pet owner is going to assume that if it's on the shelf that somebody tested it for safety, for accuracy of what their label is, and it's just not the case. Although phrases such as promotes healthy skin are permitted on pet food labels, the FDA Center of Veterinary Medicine states that any healthy animal that gets adequate nutrition should have these qualities anyway without eating a special food. Yikes. The most commonly identified food allergens in dogs are beef, dairy, wheat, egg, and chicken. The most common use of these ingredients in pet foods, rather than an increased inherent allergenic component, is the likely reason for their greater prevalence in diagnosed food allergies. However, egg and chicken were among the most common ingredients included in these diets and in the study. Similarly, many of the carbohydrate sources like rice, potato, and oat in the diet are common ingredients and unlikely to be novel ingredients. The use of common ingredients in diets suggests that the manufacturers may be more focused on avoiding ingredients purported to cause allergies like corn, rather than avoiding ingredients that have been identified more commonly as allergens. So, unlike what people think that if you have an allergy to something, it was your first exposure to it. It's kind of like having a bee sting, where if you haven't been stung before, you get stung and you get allergic reaction. But the thing with diets is that it's actually repeated exposure to that protein that causes the allergy. So your body gets intolerant to the protein that you've been exposed to many times before. It's why novel protein diets are what they are, because we're trying to feed your dog a protein source they've never had before. And that's why the more common allergens are going to be beef and dairy, wheat, egg, and chicken, because those are the most common things that dogs are going to eat, whether it's naturally or from the diet. And if you want to look at more allergies, I have an old video on this channel for allergies in dogs if you want to look that up. Over-the-counter diets can be contaminated with potential allergens, even if those allergens are not included in the ingredient list, which further complicates things. Finally, in addition to the wide variation of nutrient concentrations and caloric density of both dry and canned diets differ considerably. So that's the paper. So veterinarians, you got to educate your clients more. You got to talk to them about actually working up skin cases, refer to a dermatologist, and try to get diets that are substantiated more. And then for pet owners, you have to consult a veterinarian. It's a cliche statement to say, but you're just guessing by purchasing over-the-counter products, understanding, hopefully after this video, that these things are not regulated to the degree that you hope they would be, considering that you're feeding your pets this. What's also insane about veterinary medicine is that we have these products that are over-the-counter, not prescription, not validated, and yet the medical boards have problems with veterinarians recommending other over-the-counter products like Benadryl, for example, or antacids, and there's no studies that show that those over-the-counter products are safe for animals, but we use them all the time. And so, medical boards, get your crap together. I'm gonna try and keep this child friendly. So yeah, you guys are idiots, and all the lack of standardization amongst the field is appalling. So, all right, thanks for watching the video. We'll see you again tomorrow. Bye bye.